There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to The Experience. I'm Miss Jen, talk to you from the storefront of Space Cadets Collection. It's crazy busy today, which is awesome. I love having so many people in here looking for comics and other cool stuff. We're getting super excited about tomorrow when we get our new comic books in, and then the day after that is New Comic Book Day. Universally, it's been that way for a long time, and that's when the new books come out. But tonight we're not going to talk so much about things that are coming out this week, but talking about people that are making the really cool stuff that is coming out. We're super excited to talk to creators like Seda Wolf, who does this awesome book behind me, Soulstream. And after that, we're going to talk to my good friend Travis McIntyre from Source Point Press, creator and publisher extraordinaire. So, let's see. I see Seda in the background, but I don't see her face. So I told him, oh, there she is. I was like,
there we go. Okay, hello.
Are you playing cat and mouse with me today?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, perfect. I love how you got everything all CGC'd behind you.
Yeah.
Like every version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay,
it took me forever to get it all back from them, but it looks really cool on the wall here now. So.
Oh, it absolutely does. Yeah, because CGC and CBCS are kind of backed up. It's just, I think it might be an affect of people finally getting to go through their collections while everything was kind of slower.
Yeah.
And all deciding, yes, we must grade them all.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
So,
I'm glad we got them all because they're pretty cool.
Question. Did you collect comics before you started making them?
No, I did not. I mean, I had comics, but I hadn't. I mean, I still don't really know that much about like the whole collector side of it, I guess. But now I have these cool graded copies of my own comic, which is really cool. So
it probably is. There's positives and negatives getting to the collectible part of comic books. I always try to tell people, it's like, it's okay if you want to try to collect them, but really try to choose something you also like to read or that you appreciate the art for. So, because it can get overwhelming if you just like, I'll collect them all like Pokemon.
gotta catch them all, right? Yeah.
So true. Oh my goodness. So have you been to very many conventions and got to talk to your fans about their response to the book?
Well, I've been to a few events recently. Just like 2 days ago, I was at Heidi Ho Comics in the LA area. I have a signing at a local store next weekend too at Horizon Comics. And yeah, I've been doing small events. I was at AwesomeCon like on the East Coast like weeks ago, and then I have a whole bunch of other conventions lined up for next year. But yeah, I've done some stuff, but most of what I'm going to do still is like in the future. So I'm looking forward to that.
So I'm guessing since you've been to a lot of local comic shops and supporting them, you've probably had a better, more intimate experience with your customer base, your fans, because conventions kind of are a little bit overwhelming if it's your first interaction with them because there's so much going on in the background, costumes walking by and making announcements over the loudspeaker and things. I think it's been great that your first experience with your fans has been kind of like small comic shop, calm. I don't know. Maybe it was a madhouse. Maybe there was a big long line.
I know we had. I was at. It was like a free comic book day event at Comics Factory in Pasadena. That had quite a lot of people at it, but it was like super fun because it was that was the first time actually I had been able to sell the trade paperback because I had advanced copies in finally. That was the first day I had even seen them. So that was really exciting because I was able to sell the trade paperback to like a lot of different people, and that was really fun.
So did you have any input about like any of the design of the trade paperback, how it was laid out, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I designed the cover, and I designed the cover. I designed like the stuff on the back. They helped with like putting the barcode and stuff because I don't know how to
That's the boring part anyway.
But yeah, and like I like a lot of like the interior of the book too it was a great process, like getting the whole like just getting the trade paperback ready. Like I was able to pick out even like the inside cover color, which was really cool.
Oh wow.
But yeah, like I definitely had a lot of input on what the book looked like, and I think that's really great because yeah, I'm really happy I was able to have so much input on the final product especially since I've spent so much time on this story for so long.
Probably no one better than you to know what feels right for it in that form.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's great.
So did you include like a page that tells all about your long history in comic books?
Oh yeah, well there's an about the author page at the end. It's got like it's got like a nice little picture of me there.
Oh, it's perfect.
Little bio. So
that's adorable. Yeah. I love that picture of you. Oh, by the way, I found that one online too. It was like one. It looks so fancy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was one of my senior photos. So it's pretty cool. I've just been able to like use senior photos as author photos because like they're nice pictures, right? So yeah, I use them for lots of different things.
So does anyone at school recognize you as being a comic book creator as opposed to just like that person I've known since 6th grade?
Well, since I graduated like last May. So like, but I mean, my school was pretty small, so I don't think I had people coming up to me like, oh wow, you made, like, it was mostly me going up to people and saying, hey, look at this cool comic I made. Isn't this cool? Look at what I did. So like I've showed all my teachers my comic. I know I gave a copy of the trade paperback to my school's library, the school I went to. But
what a great idea!
Yeah, so they'll just have a copy of it there now, which is really cool.
You know, I think that it would be worth their while, kind of like, you know how when you go back to high schools or to colleges and it says who's who from before? You know, they usually have like all the sports ball trophies in the cases with all of their, you know, those kind of accomplishments. Like, I think they should put a copy of your book there. Accomplished author.
Wow. Yep, that would be cool. I mean, my school, we didn't really have like sports either. It was but yeah.
Oh, you're getting some mad props right now from Jay. Jay says, I love how your colors and your work have subtle gradient blends, but only artists understand what that means right there. They almost look solid, but a slight gradient. What software do you use? Oh, that's important.
Wow. Well, yeah, thank you so much for that. But yeah, I make all my comic pages on my iPad with the Procreate app and an Apple Pencil, and I think it works really well for what I do. I use like a tiny bit of Photoshop at the very end just for like print formatting and stuff, because Procreate can't do everything with CMYK stuff, and Photoshop has those capabilities for that. But yeah, I use the Procreate app, and I think it's really great.
We talked about that a little bit last time, the whole trying to think about what the format is like for when what has to go to the printer is what you have created. And see, that's where I would get lost. I'd be like, you know what? I'm just going to hand this tablet to you and you figure it out.
Technology, wow.
Oh, Jay's a graphic designer. I didn't know that, Jay.
Oh, cool.
Fancy brush. Wait a minute. There's fancy brush packages. They have you, even when you do digital, they got you for that. Man.
I mean, I don't think I've ever actually bought like any brushes from the internet or from. I mostly just kind of like I have like this line art brush that I just kind of made myself that I use for pretty much everything. But I don't really have, and then just like some of the default like just painting brushes I use sometimes for shading certain things. But yeah, I've never actually bought brushes for the app before. Um,
So
so
this
I
is me
don't.
being a dummy. This is me being a total dummy. Do you have to use, is there like the pen that you use to do the Procreate? Do you have to use that? Is there something electronic in the tip that you have to have? Or can you use
So
random objects to touch a screen and it still sees them?
well, so the Apple Pencil, it's so that's like kind of like it's basically just the stylus that I use to like to draw all the lines, like regardless of, and it has like nice pressure sensitivity, so when I press harder, it makes the line bigger. And you can like use your fingers to do it, but then it won't have that nice pressure sensitivity. But mostly like the different brushes within the app, like you can just switch between them. Um, just like it doesn't change anything on the actual stylus itself, but although I think they do sell like special styluses that have like a brush I don't really know much about that. I know there are alternative styluses that people use. I don't know.
Because those make sense to me. Just for like if you come from a world of like practical art, like that might help
Yeah,
to make the transition.
yeah, I feel like there are like, I mean, I don't know, but I feel like there are like styluses that like try to emulate like paint brushes. I don't know. I shouldn't even be. I'm just giving out false information. I don't know what's going on.
Sorry, this part of the show has been all hypothetical. It's okay. Oh no, he did not. Some people live an alternative lifestylists.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah.
Oh my word. So you say next year is when you're going to get to finally go and do some larger conventions. Which ones?
Yeah, I have like a list. Let's see. So I have well, I'm going to be at the Bakersfield Comic-Con, which is pretty local to me. I'm going to be at the LA Comic-Con at the Scout Comics table, I believe.
That's
going to
awesome.
be Yeah, it was cool because that's what I did for AwesomeCon too, was like they had a table specifically for the all ages imprint that Soulstream is part of. So I went to that table and I was there. That was really fun. But yeah, and then I have Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario, and then WonderCon, and I think yeah. And then of course I have like a signing next weekend at Horizon Comics, and that's going to be really fun. But yeah, I am looking forward to all of that because I'm gonna get to show people my book that I worked so hard on, and that's always good.
Absolutely. Have you you were talking about sitting at a table that was for the Scoot imprint. Have you got to sit with any other creators yet?
Well, at the Scoot table, Richard Rivera was there. He's like he makes Stabbity Bunny and all that. He's great, but he's also he's in charge of a lot of the Scoot like publishing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool to meet him in person. I had been on like calls with him before to like just talk about like just getting the book ready for print and all that. Also, I met I think, yeah, so I met Scott Van Dommelen. He's done some great stuff for Scout. He was, like, amazing. That was great meeting him. And then there was, let's see. I met Matt and Steph. They were part of, like, they're a little team called
Matt?
I'm trying to remember. What?
Matt Ehrman?
I don't know. I'm trying to like look up their last name.
They did Long Lost together?
What?
I think they did Long Lost together.
I don't think so. Yeah, I'll try to let's see. I'm pulling it up right now. Hang on. Yeah, it's Matt Knowles and Steph Cannon I met, and they were both great. There we go.
So much fun. I just wonder if once you start going to more conventions with a lot of other creators, whether you'll find yourself collaborating on some fun stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. Yeah, well, I know just a few days ago I was at the event I was at. Charlie Stickney was there too. That was great seeing him as well. It's just been great, like, being able to meet a lot of different people who are involved with comics, and especially with Scout Comics. Because, like, we share a publisher, and, like, yeah, it's cool.
I
And yeah,
here's the grapevine that they're going to have a fun gathering at their new headquarters, and where you'll get to play their video game. They've got
oh wow,
a video game that's got all the video games in it that you would ever want to play, and they've got it all like graphicked up. I can't remember who made all the graphics. I should know by now, but it's just so funny that it's Scout branded their video game, stand-up video game that they have in their warehouse.
Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah.
So are you a gamer at all?
Yeah, I've always liked video games. I haven't had as much time to play them like this year in general, I guess. But yeah, and I mean and it influences my work a lot, I think, too, just all the video games I played when I was younger, because I played so many video games just like from elementary well into middle school and high school and a long time. Yeah, video games. Yes.
I love it. All right. Oh, let's see. I think that JD wants to know, where do you see yourself going from here? College, art school, dive into more stories?
Well, so I'm currently on like a gap year. So I graduated high school last year, and now I'm like, I'm in the middle of a gap year during which I'm going to work on a volume 2 of Soulstream. Wow. And also I'm going to be going to all these conventions and stuff, which is exciting. And then after that, I am going to go to college. And I'm looking to apply to a lot of different California state universities. I'm hoping to major in animation somewhere. But I also want to be able to study a lot of other things like liberal arts classes and other stuff like that too, which is why I'm probably not going to end up going to an art school just because of that, because I want to be able to take a lot of different classes that aren't necessarily related to art.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's, and then of course I need to get my driver's license, which is pretty important. I've been working on that, but
so
yeah.
Okay, so describe working on that. Do you like go out into a large parking lot and just drive in circles, or?
Well, it's like I sometimes like I just go out and just drive around town, or I'll just like drive my parents' places. I have to get a lot more hours before I can get the license, because it's like I probably would have had it by now if COVID hadn't happened, but because of COVID, all that just got pushed back, and now I'm working on that now. So yeah, that I need like 47 more hours or something before I can. I don't know what. Yeah, I need to work on that.
My parents handled it by saying, like, once I got my permit, I think my parents didn't not let me drive. Like, everywhere we went, they were like, "You gotta drive."
Yeah, we've been starting to try to do that more often, just because like I'm gonna need to get a lot more hours in if I'm going to get it soon after I turn 18, which is I think when I can take the test. I don't know.
That sounds right. So, are you a nervous driver or a very confident driver?
I'm nervous. I'm doing my best. Driving is kind of scary, but I am trying to get more comfortable with doing that without, yeah. Wow, cars.
So you don't find yourself, pretending like you're Jason Statham and driving like a crazy person?
No.
I used to call my mom for a little while when I opened the store when the boys were young and I needed someone to go help pick them up from school. My mom would go pick them up. So I called her my Jason Statham, which is, the boys didn't understand what that reference was at all. But yeah, because she was my transporter.
Wow.
Go full Grand Theft Auto? No. No, because then you end up
Somehow
with
I
like
feel
women
like
of the night that you have to run over, and that's just gets too violent. Hey, Ryan White says you're awesome. Oh no, amazing. I'll get it straight.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much.
And he's also Fry. That's awesome.
Wow.
Does anyone have any questions? I've already got to ask all the questions last time. I want you guys to think of cool ones. Like I love the one that Jay gave for asking what kind of equipment that she uses for doing art. What's your favorite Brother Grimm fairy tale? Oh my word.
That's a good question.
That's
Oh
a
man.
really good question.
That's a really good question. I know I've been having a lot of conversations about fairy tales with my family lately, and just how messed up some of them are.
Messed up.
That's been a conversation topic lately, which is it's funny you bring that up. Shoot, I'm trying to think. I know I have like copies of like I have several different copies of like Grimm's fairy tales. I have like a big book of Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales as well. So I'm trying to think if I have like a specific favorite. I know I've always wanted to adapt a fairy tale into like something else, like a comic or something. I don't know when, just like someday in my life. Probably not anytime soon, but I think just or even just like a myth of something, like mythology stuff. I've always loved mythology stuff too. I think that would be fun to like adapt an existing story that's been around for a really long time into like another piece of media. And like I think that would be really fun. I'm trying to
Do you
I'm
think
not sure.
you think you would do it? Do you think you do a direct translation of it, or do you think you would kind of like choose a totally different genre to put it into and put your own twist on
I
it?
think it would be really fun to try to like convert it into a really different genre, even though I know that that's like been done so much with
But
like the fractured fairy tale stuff. But like or even just like reuse the basic structure of like a really old story and like have it like just like or like reference it constantly. I know I've always really liked just like whenever like just pieces of media just like call back to fairy tales over and over, like even if it's not like a retelling, it just has like the fairy tale motif, and I think that's so cool. Yeah.
yeah, it is funny if you're in the middle of a episode of some fun show on TV and you realize, wait a minute, they're retelling Red Riding Hood, but not.
Wow.
Got a compliment from Jay. Jay says your art style complements fantasy stories so much, so it looks like it would be a good match.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh, and JD wants to know, what is your favorite episode of Grimm, the TV show? You can't come up with a great.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that show.
Me either. Don't worry.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to think of some. It's so weird how much darker the Grimm fairy tales really are.
Yeah.
You see is in our kids' books where they really like soften all of that stuff.
Yeah, I know. Like on the car ride back from like the Heidi Ho event that we were at on Saturday, I was just like I was talking with my family about like I just suddenly had remembered like there's just like this one fairy tale about a bunch of army surgeons who just like remove their own organs to prove that they can put them back the next day, and it's like what is this? I was just telling them about it. I was like, this just popped into my brain. It's so like, why is this a thing? That's like pretty messed up.
That's really messed up.
Fairy tales. No.
Oh my word.
So, but yeah, I like fairy tales.
What is the official release date for the trade paperback?
The official. Okay. It's like. So it comes out in comic stores on the 22nd, which is like Wednesday, and then it comes out in like bookstores like through Simon and Schuster, on I think the 28th. So yeah, that's gonna be really cool.
Sweet and gave comic shops a week head start. Love it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm really excited. For that.
I am too. I think it's going to definitely be something I think is going to be an evergreen in kids sections.
I love
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it's a really great book, and I mean I might be biased because I made it, but I think it's really great, and I'm really excited for people to be able to read it.
I very much more prefer your like, I love what I made and it's really good, to like, I don't know, it's barely tolerable that some people have their opinion of their own work. Like most people that I meet that are creators are like almost ashamed of what they're put out there because they're just so, I think they've lived with it so long that they see all the tiny imperfections that we can't possibly see because we don't know what was supposed to be on the page. We only know what happened on the page, really.
Yeah. I know. I always think of Frankenstein when I think about that because it's like when you spend like months creating something and then immediately hate it once it's finished. Like, no, I'm really proud of my book and I think it's really great.
You
But
should.
yeah, thank you.
Says, how do you get a signed Soulstream #1 exclusive cover? Ooh, that's a question. Are you talking about one of these, like if you like a special cover kind of thing?
Oh.
I don't know what you mean by exclusive because I'm sure that there's stores out there with exclusive covers because there's a difference between variant covers, which are just like a different version than the main #1. And then there's exclusives, and exclusives usually are relegated to like New York Comic Con is the only place you can get this cover, or you can only get this cover at Heidi Ho. So I don't know. You'd have to connect with the person whose exclusive it is and ask them if they can get Say to autograph it for you.
Yeah, I know. Like, there's like I know there's a lot of different variants of issue 1 that are out now. There's like the HQ cover, which is I know you have those are a bunch of the ones you have behind you over there. I know there's the Comic Tom like Virgin cover variant, which is like a lot rarer. I've seen them on eBay a lot for high prices, I guess. I think there were only 350 of those, which is I think those are like pretty rare. And then I think there's the VHS variant. I think I have that there.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
Okay. I have a lot of covers behind me. And yeah, I think there's a lot of different covers of issue 1, which is pretty cool, especially since like basically the way it released is like there's issue 1 and then there's the trade paperback. So it's like through like their nonstop imprint kind of where like you can read issue 1 and then you can read the rest of it. But
so I'm guessing that you don't have a web store set up.
Well, no, I do not. I know Scout Comics, it has like, they have like all the different covers you can go on there and buy.
Yeah.
It would be cool if I had a web store at some point. That is, that is a thing that I have a website, like SadaWolf.com. Wow. What?
Yep. Do SadaWolf.com. Send an email through that, Jay, and then maybe you can arrange to ship, like if you have a copy, maybe you can arrange to ship it to her and have it come back. Because that might work.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that might work. Yeah, and
then
then
you're going to have to travel to the next line where she is.
yeah, that's another thing. You could just, if you go to a con where I am, I will sign things. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Ryan says 9/8 flex wall. Nice. How did you get all those Sada comics?
Wow. Yeah, it took a very long time to get them back from CGC, but I think they all are pretty good. Oh, another thing that I've been doing, like as far as getting like signed books to people who live very far away from me, it mostly just for the trade paperback, but I've been like making a lot of like little book plates that I'm gonna send out to some comic shops already. But yeah, if like you or like a comic shop wants book plates, like if anyone, I don't know, that's a thing I've been doing.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, because then it's like it has the signature in it, and I like, even if I live all the way on the other side of the country, so you just stick it in there and then it's signed.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know what your initial orders for the trade paperback are, but I'm sure that they're really amazing. I'll talk to Charlie about it and see how well it is and see what the response is. I know it's going to be an interesting day on Wednesdays. I'm sure you get lots of messages from new fans as they find your work. That's going to be really wonderful.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, it sounds like from what I've heard from Charlie, the initial orders are pretty good. I think there's like between Diamond and Simon and Schuster, I think there's like 1,300.
But no,
That's great.
they told
Yeah,
me.
I'm excited. Yay!
Baby,
You should be so excited. That's awesome. All right, thank you so much for joining us, Zayna. I've loved
Thank you so much for having me.
I can't wait for volume 2. We can talk about that when we see you next time. Everybody connect with Zayna at we've got the web address for you to connect with her there for ease. And don't go anywhere, because coming up next we get to talk to Travis McIntyre from SourcePoint Press. We'll see you right after this break.
Today's comics market is ripe with new titles by creators who are determined to get their books into your hands. My name is Henri Compen. For the last decade, I've been making and selling my own creator-owned comics and dealing as a collector in live sales. My signature series, Yisun Shin, is the book that cannot be defeated in battle and has over 250,000 copies in print. Now I'm taking comics to the next level and laying the groundwork for my fellow creators to get their voices heard so they can connect directly with you. This is your chance to engage live with top comic book talent and get your comics signed without having to wait in long lines or pay any fees. But remember, we only have a limited amount of their books in stock, so always remember to call it as you see it.
Welcome back to the experience where we're talking shop. Coming up is one of my favorite people on the planet, Travis McIntyre. Oh no, what has happened? You have stolen my good friend Travis. What happened to him?
I see what you're getting at.
What?
How are you? I haven't seen you in forever.
Were you part of a horrible factory accident with your beard, or?
Yeah, every couple of months I decide I want to see how much damage has actually happened underneath the beard and see what I really look like. And you're fortunate because I actually did this last week, so you're seeing a recovery period.
It looks great. Just my brain.
Well, I appreciate that.
Does not compute.
It'll come back. It'll be normal.
Oh yeah, I have a good friend who, for probably the first 8 years of the time that I knew her, she always wore a ball cap, and she showed up to work one day without one, and I could not get over it.
What was different? Just no hat, or was there like another head in there?
There's no hat. My brain was like, that hat is part of her body. Something fell off.
Wow. So what have you been doing lately? I haven't seen you in forever.
No, I miss getting to see you. I miss going to, comic retailer gatherings and comic conventions where I get to see you. It's been busy though.
Did you go to the Dallas convention, the one that just happened?
I did not. We've been kind of sticking close to home because honestly, it's been super busy here. Like there's
Really? Well,
not
that's
been a
great.
real reason to make the expense of getting a booth anywhere.
That's great. Good for you. I mean, it's such a. We just had the last weekend was Monroe, which is a small one near us, which is really well run. Gen Con, of course, which is a giant gaming convention. That went pretty well. It was a little bit. I mean, it was tamer than usual. They had like a 50% attendance cap, and that sort of thing going on, but still really pretty intense. And then I was actually down in Cincinnati, just bumming around, talking to people. So all the travel has been ramping up, as you know, through the end of August and through September, and it's going to get only more so in October. Barring anything awful happening, we hope doesn't.
Oh yeah. So was Gen Con? Was this the first Gen Con for Oxeye?
No, we've done several years in a row. Since we went to Gen Con for the first time the first year that Deepwater Games existed. So we've been, I think this would have been our fourth year there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So for everybody that doesn't know, Travis is part of Source Point Press, but it's under a banner of a big gigantic company called Oxeye Media, which has got their fingers in a great many pies. Oh, do I have it backwards? Let's go backwards. I'm not telling the truth.
No, you're telling the truth. I don't know if big, gigantic, probably not accurate. Big enough. It's big enough. For right now, that's for sure. But yeah, it's Deepwater Games, SourcePoint Press, N3 Art Design. There's a few other things. There's warehousing and the fulfillment business in there. Several other things that we've gotten our hands into. But yeah, so Deepwater Games, the gaming element of the company, has been at Gen Con for, I think this is our fourth year.
Oh yeah, we're. I think that we need to shoot another commercial in your new space because I'm super interested to see what that looks like.
Dude, yeah. I mean, something we actually have talked about was because our headquarters is so cool. So it's in like downtown Saginaw, Michigan. It's where our offices and warehousing is based, and it's the Tiffany planetarium company's building, right? So it's this old brick, multiple story building that I guess originally it was a dry grocer's, but for much of its history, they did like plastic injection molding. There's a factory that made globes and like planetariums and stuff. So it's pretty cool building in Old Town in Saginaw. Something we've actually talked about is trying to get Comics Pro to host their event in Saginaw. We would sponsor it.
I'd tell them I'm down with that.
Yeah, well, once I tell them that you're down, it should be easy to do.
No, they'll probably be like, "Oh, Jen's coming, cancel."
Right. I feel it.
Did it come with do you guys have multiple stories of the building? Do you get to have a cool what are those big in the building giant elevators where you can fit a whole car in it?
There is a giant freight elevator. Yeah, it's I don't know if you can get a car in there. It depends on the car. It is 3 stories. The 2-story, it's kind of divided into like a front part, which is like more developed in its offices and such, and conference rooms. And then the back of each floor is all sort of open warehousing space, of which we use the first and second as warehousing. And then we've got like a workshop in there with like 3D printers and, toys, and we make dumb shit and things, from time to time. It's as close to the playground that I imagined as a stoned teenager that I could get to right now. That's what it is.
Do you guys manufacture anything in house?
Oh, not really. I mean, we make prototypes. We make game prototypes, and we just made like a really cool little Warcorns bobblehead. So we make stuff, but it's mostly prototypes or just for us and things like things like that, or like somebody wants a one of a thing and things like that. But no, we don't manufacture anything yet. We do a lot of logistics work. I mean, outside of like the creative side of comics and games, we do a lot of like logistics. So a lot of like storage and warehousing and shipping and fulfillment of different things and crowdfunding fulfillment. It's like honestly, like outside of traveling, most of my days lately, at least the last several, have been almost entirely just packed crammed full. We've got these enormous Kickstarter fulfillments that seemed really fun when we were running the campaign, and they were doing really well. That part was awesome. I really enjoyed it. But this part is exhausting.
So do you guys,
but we're getting close.
have a
Like,
problem? Do you guys have any problems like sourcing boxes and packing material, or the actual parts for making your Kickstarter finished?
The only thing we had that we did great with boxes and all that stuff. We were fine with. I've heard other places, depending on where they were in the country, there are supply chain issues. But bags and boards for books, bags and boards were bad for a while. We could not get bags and boards. It was crazy. We were like going through old long boxes that were full of like old variants that we kind of had in our vaults, and we were being like, all right, these don't need to be in a bag and board, and like we're taking them out so that we could keep shipping orders. It seemed like it was like 2 weeks. Did you guys have that too? We couldn't get bags and boards from anybody?
We're hoarders. So I always have 2 or 3 months worth of bags and boards stashed just in case. But I have a really good our supplier of bags and boards is so good about when I call once a week to find out. Right now it's just for my allotment, because it used to be I'd call up and get 10,000 bags, 10,000 boards, and that was my normal order. But recently it's been, I just say what's my allotment, and they're like, well, you can have 3 packages of Silver Age bags, but we don't have any boards to go with those, and we've got some boards for current age, but we can only let you have 1 case. And I'll be like, that sounds great. I'll take that.
Oh, whatever I can get my hands on is fine. Yeah.
We'll make it work.
Yep. Well, and there's shipping issues are still like happening on a regular basis. I mean, we're behind, and we have like 2 fulfillments that are butting up against each other right now. One for us, one that's internal, and one that's an external client that we're helping out. And it's, ours, the shipping freight delay was delayed by weeks, and now everything's kind of piling up on top of each other. But I mean, it's the same stuff all over. Any of the companies that do this stuff, if you manufacture overseas at all, like there's just supply chain and freight issues all over the place. It's fun.
I had a sweet
what
friend.
What I dreamed about when I thought about getting into the comic industry.
This is not what you dreamed of. Fulfillment of Kickstarter stuff. No,
yeah, I don't know.
There at 3:00 in the morning, putting another thing in another box and another shipping label. You're like, I hate this.
It's great though. It is good, but it's part of the work.
So let's talk a little bit about upcoming conventions. Have you guys made a full and final decision about New York?
Yeah, we're at New York. We're the badges at New York this year. Yeah, we're pretty big there. I mean, this will be a. I mean, this year I feel pretty good about New York. They're doing the required vaccination, and they're doing the masks and all that. And, from what I've heard, they're expecting a pretty good crowd, and pre-sales have been strong, and we've gotten a lot of traction on the things we've been doing in terms of some of the like exclusives that we've released and stuff. So I feel pretty good about New York, and I'm really looking forward to going. And I think it's going to be nice to get back there and kind of, I don't know. So far, we've done a couple of big shows. Gen Con is certainly a big show, but nothing really compares to New York, at least for me. So I'm really looking forward to getting back.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see more people in the industry that you hadn't seen in a long time.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think we need to all just like have one big group hug, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, I'll feel you.
because there's kind of like something to if you're in the comic book industry behind the scenes, it's kind of like being a police officer. Like there's no one else that truly understands what it's like being in behind the scenes than someone else that's in the ranks with you.
100%. 100%. The industry, especially for comics, I think, is so, like, at the same time, like, very cutting edge and embracing technology while being, like, very steeped in tradition and, like, unbreakable rules. It's a very interesting industry with its own little quirks and ways that it behaves.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the best.
So for you yourself, in your business, which arm of the business are you most drawn to? What's the most exciting for you?
Oof. Well, for a long time, it was definitely like the comics, and I still really enjoy the comics. I really enjoy when the new books show up into our warehouse. I think we get two a month, and all the new books show up. I still really enjoy that part when there's something you can hold in your hand. But right now, the stuff I'm spending, well, and then for a while, when you first start getting like some attention, and you're getting like meetings about like, ooh, let's sign this option or a shopping deal, or we want to do it in pre-production. Like that was super exciting for a long time. I was really into that, and then you get a little jaded with that because, of course, like 99 out of 100 things fall through or don't work out or whatever. This is just the nature of the business. But right now, the thing I'm spending a lot of attention on, outside of like trying to get all hands on deck when this Kickstarter fulfilled, is we have done a little bit. We've done 11 books, but we have a pretty aggressive schedule going into 2022 to release more and more prose novels. Things like that for the traditional bookstore market. The one that is coming out here relatively soon is the Dead Handbook by Sarah Richard. I don't know if you caught that anywhere. But it's absolutely gorgeous, cool. If you like Edward Gorey, like the chapbook type art books he did, it's very much like that. It's sort of like it's a bunch of her drawings that like represent these gravestones in the cemetery, and then little poems that go with them, and they're all sort of interconnect because it's all the same cemetery over like a long period of time. Just really cool, really cool book. So we've got that. There's a couple other things in the pipeline that I'm really excited about that are something new and different, and it's a new market to try to figure out how to get into and how to be successful at. And so right now, that's sort of the thing that I'm the most into is kind of some of the weirder and more different things in publishing that I haven't done before. So yeah, right now it's that. It's making books, making books for bookstores. That's what I'm into right now.
I can totally understand that because I had never really thought about it in terms of, because I've always been kind of on the comic book side, but now that we've kind of seen on the other side of the veil with the PRH deal, and some comic book stores have had accounts with Scholastic and PRH and Ingram and all those guys forever, but it's certainly not the majority of the stores. And think of the idea that they have such a big reach into what we consider just like the regular market. Like regular books are in so many big places, like Barnes and Noble and Walmart and Target and all those places. And the idea that they could also get comic books into those markets is really great because you have to be someone's first comic book somehow, and if they don't come into a comic book store, how do you get them into their hands for the first time?
Absolutely. I don't know how well we're going to do with the truly big accounts like the Walmarts. That might be a little bit out of our reach, but we've had some good luck with some of the bigger chains, Books A Million and Barnes and Noble. Certainly we get a decent amount of support from independent bookstores, the same way we've gotten a lot of support from the independent comic book stores.
Oh yeah. So with all of with all the things that you're having to balance right now, have you had any chance to get to be creative? Have you gotten to do any writing?
Me? Oh, geez. Well, I wrote the Gloomhaven one shot that came out for Free Comic Book Day.
This pretty one. Here.
Oh yeah, that's I wrote that. That did pretty well. I didn't get too much hate about it. People seem to like it, and so I don't know. I don't know what can be announced and what can't be really, but there is more Gloomhaven stuff that's sort of in the pipeline and being worked on. I don't know at the end of the day if I will end up scripting them or not. Right this second, I would probably say it's not. Like, it's time for me to move away from that. I mean, I enjoyed writing the 2 stories that I did, and I kind of enjoyed creating the characters and doing the research and all that, but it also took a lot of time. And it's kind of nuts, because when I started out, like, that's really what I wanted to do. I'm like, I want to be a writer. And, a couple things come out, and I'm like, I'm not really that good. So I'm going to do this instead. And then it kind of, you're like, wow, I'm actually really good at this. So I don't know. I'm kind of, I don't know if I'll go back to it, at least not right away. But there will be more Gloomhaven. Just maybe not written better.
I just can't imagine, from the amount of work I see you do on the daily basis, how you would fit it in, except for, if you could, sleep right, maybe.
Yeah.
Isn't it awesome to be so busy and making, a reasonable amount of money for your company and have it grow? You don't have to be all the time.
It's absolutely amazing. I recommend everyone do it. Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely wonderful. I mean, you're not ever going to have like a 40-hour a week job, but it's fine. I definitely wouldn't change it. That's for sure. No, it's great. And right now, as you know, we've got we're kind of doing our first ever home con and our home convention, the Oxide Con in Saginaw here this coming Saturday. It sort of like came together a little bit out of the blue, maybe 7 or 8 weeks ago. The city, there was kind of an open slot, and they wanted an event, and we're always trying to figure out, like, how can we make ourselves more a part of this community. And so we were like, hey, we might be able to do something. And over the past 6 weeks, we've kind of called in favors and brought in like our whole crew, from the local Midwest scene to try to do this little show. But it should be a lot of fun. And if you're in the area of the Tri-Cities, Midland, Bay City, or Saginaw, or probably even as far away from Flint, I think would be a reasonable drive, 40 minutes or so. But it's at the SVRC building, downtown Saginaw. Starts this coming Saturday at 10 a.m. So I'm a little nervous about it. We've never really done, we've done a lot of small events, but we've never done anything where we're like, oh, we're going to bring in other companies or whatever. It's always just been something that was just us.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It should be interesting.
I know it's
chances are I'm probably going to. What's that?
I know it's on people's radars because I have had one of my customers that's just like a live customer of mine already messaged me and say, are you going to be at the event? And I was like, what?
Oh, man.
It's just a little bit far to drive.
Yeah, if I thought there was any chance of you driving up here for it, I would have invited you. But originally, I was gonna do the Dallas show this last weekend.
Oh man, then I would have totally come. That would have been different.
Well, it was a while back, and with Gen Con and the traveling I had to do, and there was just I didn't have anybody that could go. It ended up being like, because when we do those shows like that, we do a big space usually, like 400 square feet or some kind of big thing.
Nice one. Yeah.
I gotta have a certain number of people, and I couldn't get enough people there. So
you guys have really cool designs.
Oh, thank you. You can. Have you ever met Devin? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's like he's like my assistant. He's like my executive assistant.
I've seen you make fun of him on the dailies.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Anyway, he does a lot of our putting together of our booths. I mean, Josh Warner does the designs and stuff, but Devin does a lot of the putting together aspect of it because he's very tall and can carry a lot of things at once.
All right, let's talk about buying a clothing company, sir. What in the world?
Buying a clothing company?
Yeah. How do you take over a clothing company? Because that's awesome.
Did I take over a clothing company?
I don't know. Did you not?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh no.
Who knows?
I'm thinking about something else. My brain is completely stopped. That's funny. You're like, man, now I don't want a clothing company. No. Really?
I mean, we do make clothes, but I don't know if I want a clothing company. It's funny. I mean, we have acquired 2 companies in the past, and I just acquired like a chunk of interest in a app development company.
Ooh,
so,
tell me more, because I need someone to build me an app.
Oh yeah, yeah. I bought 15%. It's called Unboxed. They have some things out there. They do a lot of ports of tabletop games right now. So yeah, like that's the crazy thing is it's not impossible for you to be like, oh, you bought a clothing company, and for me to be like, what? Which one?
How'd you know?
How did that know? Why didn't I know? That's the thing. That it's possible. Like, I don't know. Does any of them make clothes? I have no idea.
I mean, why not? Then you can just make them in house.
Am I supposed to be paying attention to this somehow?
No. So what are the books that you're the most excited about coming out soon?
Ooh, that's tough. It's like, which one of my children do I like the best?
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely is good. I think that the one that I personally am looking forward to the most is it's called Tall Tales of Midgard. And this is bad because he's got a very long Scandinavian name, and I'm not going to say it right. But his first name's Bjorn, and it was released over there as these like oversized hardcovers, and we're releasing them here also as hardcovers, and they're absolutely gorgeous. There's 5 volumes, like each volume is sort of slim. We're doing it in 3 volumes, so the books will be a little bit bigger and a little bit more like, library edition type sizes. But Tall Tales of Midgard, the first one, I think goes into previews for next month. I think I could be wrong though. I'd have to actually look at the schedule or talk to Josh. But we were just talking about it yesterday, and kind of looking at some of the files and going over the translation again and some things. And it's such a cool book with such cool art and a lot of like history. I mean, it's a Viking story, right? But it's kind of like historically accurate. It's a really cool book, and I'm looking forward to that. Stuff that we have coming out, like the Felix the Cat thing is a big thing for us. Josh especially is a huge nerd for Felix the Cat, and we've wanted, as kids comics are very hard to kind of break into. They're kind of owned by the biggest licenses, and it's hard to like make your space. Many people do it all the time, and good for them. But we've had a few younger reader books that did okay, but we never really kind of broke into there. And then when we started talking to the cat people and Mike Fraterelli, who had a great pitch for what kind of a slightly updated Cat story could be, and we were able to kind of work out a deal. For us, we're looking at this as like, okay, this is an opportunity to like use like a great character that's kind of steeped in old pulpy stuff like what Josh and I like, and also introduce it to a bunch of new kids, and it is a recognizable name, so hopefully it gets picked up and put on some shelves. So I'm excited about that, and that's kind of been a long time coming. We're also doing all the comic stuff with Pandemic, the board game Pandemic, through Asmodee. So we've got that going into production. That won't be until next year. Mysterium is in production. Legends of the Five Rings is in production now. These are all things that, like, kind of on a daily basis we're bouncing around and talking about and looking at new art, this, that, and the other thing. So that's all super exciting. I think 2022. I mean, 2020 was what it was. It was different and weird, and lots of things happened. And like every day, we were just trying to figure out, like, okay, what exactly do we have to do to make sure that we're still surviving? And then 2021 has been like a real like calibration of like, okay, these are the things that are working well. Let's do more of that. These are the things that worked in 2020 because we were desperate, but let's stop doing it now. And kind of recalibrating and getting things. But I'm really excited about like the slate of things that are going to be coming in 2022. We've invested in some different things. We've invested in more of like studio owned type of IP or things that we ourselves own. And the creator owned stuff that we've been signing lately is, just absolutely outstanding. So I'm really excited for almost everything that's coming out.
Well, there you have
as
it.
far as hitting the go ahead. Sorry.
From the mouth of the head honcho. There's great stuff coming. If you want to know more about what's coming out from SourcePoint Press, it's super easy, sourcepointpress.com. Thank you so much, Travis. We ran out of time. I keep on going.
Yeah.
We're butting up against the show, so.
I got you. No problem at all. Thanks a lot, Jen.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Yep, thank you. Bye.